What's going on, everybody? This is Jordan with Conquer Trading and Investing. Happy Thanksgiving up in Canada. Really happy to hear that. Really, I always love talking about gratefulness and Thanksgiving. So a happy holiday to all of you over there. Again, rightfully said, this is a global community. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm glad you're here right now. It's Monday, and I'm looking forward to spending this time with all of you, digging in here to the markets and getting going. We have a lot to talk about. We're going to actually have a fun session. Friday's session was a lot different. Well, it was a Friday, and we got to actually take a lot of questions and go over a lot of different charts we don't normally get into. Today, I want to get into later after we go over the charts. This question over here is a good question over here, talking about Bitcoin, talking about the current 20% retracement, talking about if that's what we should expect going forward. First, I want to start over here, as we normally do with the S&P 500, get into all the indexes, right? By the way, on Friday, right, this was our old break-even trade. I'm getting rid of that over here now. On Friday, I said that you should take profit. I believed, I gently guided taking profit over here into this resistance, this trend line over here, said that we could still fly. But it seemed to me, unless we made a lower low, by the way, unless we made a lower low stopping you out, that by the end of Friday, that was a good place to take profit, right? So there we are. We'll pick up from there in 1 second. On the Nasdaq, right? Let's take a look at the Nasdaq over here. We were trading right above that resistance. I said it's a little bit of a different story, right? I said it's time to go ahead and move up the stop loss to potentially lock in some profit. Now we're all the way up here. We're going to look at that in 1 second. I'm going to show you that 2-minute clip of where I gave the play on both. Now, I was targeting a little higher towards the whole number 12,000 on the NASDAQ. I think it's a good place to take profit this morning. I really do. Great trade on the S&P. That's about 3.4%. But here on the NASDAQ, this is actually about 5%. Anyone took that trade. I think it's time to take profits. We have been right now just overbought for an extended period of time over there. Let's check that really quick, just so everyone sees exactly what was said. All right, listen, I'm just painting the picture for all of you, and I'm just going to slightly say I recommend going into this weekend, even though there's a possibility we could fly, I recommend, if we get the opportunity this morning, to take profits into the resistance, as well as if we trade below this morning session low over here, right over here around 34.52, just get out of the trade and take the profits. It's not a bad trade, right? It's not a bad trade at all. A stop loss, would be 2.5%, targeting, just under 3.5%. So anyway, that's where we are, and that's what I gently suggest or guide, and it's up to you to make those decisions. All right, let's take a look at the NASDAQ now at the same time. You can see this looks a little bit different. Why do I say that? Well, we're into resistance right now, this red line resistance, and we have the possibility of breaking above this resistance, right? If we break above that resistance, the next bit of resistance is a light level at 11,844, right? It gets a little stronger up here, right around the whole number 12,000, and you're targeting this trend line resistance over here. However, same thing over here. We've been overbought for a little while now. Is it time to go ahead and protect those profits? Look, stop losses right now are only at break even. Does it make sense tightening up that stop loss over here? By the way, the stops won't hit over the weekend. If you gap down over here over the weekend, and I'm not looking for a gap down, I'm looking to protect the other side of my trade always. If you gap down, you're gonna exit the trade wherever the market opens, right? So what do? Do you take profit this Friday as you're sipping your coffee, as you're sipping the tea, and feel good about putting in a good week's work? Or do you look to continue to push this, right? I think what you're looking for over here is to be very protective. Watch the price action this morning. Watch what happens, not only as the market opens, not only that first half hour of trading, but into the London close. And if you see any signs of reversal, time to just get even for the weekend. It would be nice looking for some type of entry CCI pullback on both the S&P, on the NASDAQ, and then look Okay, sorry about that. Thanks for the heads up over there, JD. By the way, yes, very, very astute. Who was that over there? I have to say this was so astute over there. The shy way was I watched my own video. Man, brother, you're just on point. All right, so yeah, what I was saying is over here right now. I do think this morning we've come a little bit further than I expected in a quicker amount of time. I do think that taking profit right now a little bit earlier than the target price is a good idea. However, we have a ton of people that are still short the Nasdaq. We still have a lot of fuel here. These people may need to cover. That could continue rocketing this. Overbought, can remain overbought. From a risk to reward standpoint, it doesn't make sense anymore. This is now support over here. Let's flip this over to support. Let's get this going over here. All right. So what are we doing? I think at this point, it's a stand aside point on the right. No one, I mean, from my perspective, no one should be long here anymore. Waiting for a pullback. We're going to just go off the entry CCI early this week. Until we get this reset, we're not even looking for an entry on the S&P 500. What about on the Nasdaq? Same thing over here. Until we at least get a pullback of the entry CCI, we're not even looking for an entry. I believe in taking profits. What about on the Dow? Let's take a look at the Dow and the Russell real quick. This is a little bit of a different situation, but you can see over here, watch my mouse right over here. We're into this bit of resistance still, right? We've been hugging it, right? That's a bad line over there. Let me fix that over there. We've been hugging it. We're still in there though. I don't think that there's any play whatsoever. And that's been that way, right? All of last week, we focused in on the S&P 500 and or on the Nasdaq. What about here on the Russell? Russell looking for that pullback, right? I thought we were getting it overnight. The Russell was actually down. It's now actually positive. There's no pullback yet. Again, into this local area of support that lines up a trade. We're a little further down. We'll watch it. That might give the first signal, actually. Excuse me. But we'll be watching them all. Let me go ahead and fix this over here. All right. So equity markets are just neutral right now, meaning you shouldn't have a position. All right. Equity markets are now neutral. You should be on the sidelines waiting for that entry, which who knows when it will come. Could we go higher? There's a lot of momentum over here. We're going to be just waiting now. That is a position of strength, by the way, a big position of strength. The bond markets closed today. Equity markets are opened. All right. Let's go. Let's figure out what's going on here on the dollar. We need to really focus on the DXY. Things have now changed. Okay. Obviously, this is very bearish over here. Once we broke that 93.38 over here, you could see that we held on Friday over here, this trend line, the support over there, right? And then have come up and is so far looking to test that resistance. When I say things have changed, at this point, we were looking at 94 over here. If we break above that to turn bullish, I think that changes now. Let me tell you and show you why and what I'm watching this week. This is a new week. All right, let's reset ourselves. What I'm watching over here is this channel that's developing, this downward sloping channel, right? A breakout over here above this top side of the channel, right? We still have a little bit of noise, but that is potentially setting off here a bullish move on the dollar, at least targeting up here between 94 and this trend line resistance. It could be rejected there, but a break of this channel, a breakout of this channel, that would then get me from right now being very bearish over here. And if we break down outside of this trend line, targeting first all the way down here into this area of support, I am bearish on the dollar. However, if we break outside of this channel to the upside, that would, right, that would get us back also above the resistance here at 93.38. At that point, I would be expecting a pretty big pop on the dollar, and we'll watch what happens over here. So just so everyone's clear, there's an echo. I'm sorry about that. There we go. Thanks for that. Thanks, JK. Sorry about that. We're out of the flow here this Monday. We'll be back in it. We're either later this session or for sure by tomorrow. You know how it goes. But nevertheless, focus on what's important. That's what I'm doing over here. This is my plan right now on the dollar. Okay, I'm very bearish, but I'm watching my backside, and it has changed. Instead of looking above 94 now, I'm looking at a much lower level. I'm looking above this trend line, a break above it, above the 93.38. That's going to then at that point look for a bigger correction here on the dollar, at least to even start. Break above this area over here, right? And that could send it, as we know. So I'm on my back foot, all right? By the way, where are we right now? We're into the second week of October. It's October 12th. We're getting very close to that election, 3 weeks out. October surprises seem to be flying, right? We still have a couple of things. We have a narrative being painted. What's that narrative? There's still, even though it's clear as day that the speaker is not looking for any type of deal. It looks like the closer they get to the election, maybe that rug is going to be pulled out completely, hoping maybe we get a pullback on the indexes, right? Well, everyone's safe here on the index. A pullback would be the best thing in the world for all of us right now, right? We'll be there. The worst thing that could happen right now, and that's not a bad thing anyway, but the worst thing that could happen is that this keeps staying overbought over here, and we're just not participating now. But from a risk to reward standpoint, that's the way to go. We have to watch out. We're an explosive time right here. That's all I can say. What would happen to gold and silver? Right? That's the question. If the DXY does strengthen, by the way, I'm bearish as can be right now on the DXY. What would happen if this, if all of a sudden price action led us to think otherwise? What would happen to gold and silver? Would they feel immediate pressure? I think in the immediate, the only thing that's gonna, again, you could have a strong dollar after the election and strong gold, I should say, if we're seeing some type of unrest, right? That's a potential, I don't even want to call it a wild card. It's a potential scenario that we have some civil unrest after the election. If we're not seeing a transition of power, of seeing, a contested election, that could provide a bid to gold for sure. But right now, I think that gold and the DXY and silver continue to maintain that correlation, that reverse correlation. And if the dollar were to strengthen over the next few weeks, I think that would mean gold is weakening. But again, that's not what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a weak dollar right now. And it looks very bearish a lot, so that we'll go from there. What is going on with the DXY over here? Well, this is looking pretty bullish over here. It looks similar to Bitcoin, but maybe reverse it a week. What I'm seeing over here was the breakout of this trend line that sent it. Now we're getting the first pullback, right? That's exactly what that was our plan, to come into that lighter trend line over here, pull back. This is now providing an opportunity for an entry on gold. This is not like, oh, all of a sudden gold's turning bearish. This is hyper bullish. It just broke out of this triangle to the upside over here. Of course, it could fail, but a failure is back below here. That will be as clear as day, trading below 1904, trading below this trend line over here. That would say, all right, this was breakout, retest, was not successful, and that was a failure. Right now, everyone should be protected, but a resumption off of here, that sets up the entry for gold. So watch out for that. Completely in play right now. Completely in play right now. Right? Everyone should see that with clarity and feel good about that. What about on silver? Silver has broken above, right? 2450. Let's turn that. That was the big line for us, 2450. Above that set off let's say it's an aggressive entry. And it is. I think right now people should be leaning into gold rather than silver. Once you start seeing the two breaking out and then you see silver playing catch up, anyone wants to take positions on silver, okay. But right now, things are still a little bit iffy. Let's call it like that. So we broke above 2450, very bullish over here. Now pulling back. As I've been saying now for a couple of weeks, I think it's still the same. You got to wait for us to clear 26. Above 26, right? That's the breakout of this trend line over here. That's the big resistance over here. It's a lot clearer skies on silver. All right, so gold remains the play, in my opinion. What about on Bitcoin over here? Andrew, you got no sound? I think we have sound over here. Check your computer. All right. What's going on over here on Bitcoin? We had the beautiful breakout over here that we were watching the day before, the night before on the afternoon. On the afternoon update, I said, I feel like Bitcoin's getting ready to break out over here. I got lucky. We broke out over here, right? We came into the resistance, pulled back a little bit, and broke the outer resistance. Uber bullish, right? CME has a gap at 9,600. It's not looking like it's ever going to be filled. It could be. We'll see, right? So what happened over there? That's the gap in play is 9,600 on CME. We broke above here, came into the resistance, right? Our trend line resistance, came into it, and have since pulled back and are now retesting this area. This is all hyper bullish. This all looks fantastically bullish here on Bitcoin. Everybody should see it. It's as clear as can be. Does that mean that you're out of the woods, that we can't have any type of failure? Absolutely not, right? And by the way, until we break above our last swing high over here, right, it has not resumed out. It has broken out. The Bitcoin bull market technically broke out over here since we've had a perfect retest, and they're now resuming off, breaking levels. But until we break out that last swing high, she's still mildly under pressure of anything could happen. Be ready. Let me talk about it now while I'm with you before we... Yeah, thanks, Ty. I didn't know what they were. I just felt like it was getting ready to break out over there. Who knows what Goldman Sachs doing? You have no idea what Goldman Sachs is doing, by the way, because if they're telling you one thing, they're probably doing the other, right? So don't listen to any investment bank ever, right? Don't look for institutional positions. What do they know? And any type of research that they're sharing with you is for a reason, and that reason is not for your benefit. And especially Goldman Sachs is notorious for trading against their own clients. All right, that's why we stick together. Is that a bull flag on maybe? That's a very good observation. Very good observation on the bull flag right there. Yeah, that looks like, I was just viewing it as consolidation, right? Boom into resistance, consolidating, but that's a bull flag all day long. Very good observation. Thanks for that share. All right. So, by the way, while we're here, let me talk about it really quick, and just because this won't take more than a few minutes, but I love it and it's important to me. This was a comment shared over the weekend, and so I'm just going to paraphrase the whole comment, and it's saying, how do you interpret the first retracement of this bull cycle only being 20%? It talks about during the first cycle, we had an average of 50% pullbacks. And then in the second cycle, 30%, it's right, and you get 30, I'll call it 30%, as high as 40%. And now we're seeing 20%. What do I think about that? Right? So I have a couple of thoughts right there. And this is like what I find so interesting. Let me show you. First of all, I'm coming back to the last halving over here. Okay, the last halving, by the way, this is the last halving right there in July 2016. That was the high over here at, we'll call it $11,060. Okay, so we came out of the halving, right? We came out of the halving. The first pullback, the first 30% pullback did not happen until after we reached all-time highs. So for your mind, that's 19,400, and then we had a 30% pullback. Okay, so fast forward to where we are today. Coming into this halving, which was May, right over here, right where my mouse is, we just came off a huge 60% drawdown because of the dollar liquidity crisis. So we automatically were coming into this in a little bit of a different situation. Right over here, right before the halving, days before the halving, we had a 20% pullback. And since then, we've had a 20% pullback, but we have not yet taken out the all-time high. In my mind, and this is how it's been, in my mind, Jordan's mind, it's not until we take out the all-time high on Bitcoin that I'm looking for that first 30% pullback. So right now, this is just all noise. Look at this chart over here, which gives a lot of clarity, right? This is overlaying the cycles over here. This is, right, going back over here, right? This is where Bitcoin made its new all-time high, which was actually right around this area, right? That's putting us right around the first quarter of 2021, right where I've always been saying it. From then on in, we'll be looking for those 30% pullbacks and that volatility to pick up. Right now, everything is completely, you can't say, there's zero reason in my mind to believe that there's any type of lengthening cycle theory credence. There's zero reason to believe that's what's ahead of us, okay? Everything right now looks like it's tracking exactly the past two cycles. There's nothing else to say about that. I don't think that we have the first 30% pullback, right, for some time yet. Everything right now is completely right on time. And again, December 2020, my price target remains 18,000 on Bitcoin, thereabouts. All right, so where are we getting at? Could show the red buttons graph. I don't have that right now. We'll look for that one anyway after November 1st, after the next print. All right, let's going on over here right now. I could pull it up right. No, I don't even have it. I don't want to spend time looking for it right now. What else are we looking at over here together? How many people we got in here today? I just want to thank each and every one of you. 1,400. All right, let's start looking at some markets over here. Equity markets, by the way, neutral, right? Everyone should have closed out positions. If you hadn't I believe everyone on the S&P should have closed out Friday, right? If you haven't closed it out in the Nasdaq, I think you should do it prematurely right now. Good, good idea. Great trade. And what else? Everything. Whether you're on the Dow, whether you're on the Russell, I think you're just being neutral right now. And don't FOMO. Do not FOMO into this. This is way overbought, right? This is where we take profits. Do not FOMO. Do not FOMO. We'll wait for those pullbacks. We'll figure it all out together. We're watching the dollar. The dollar's weak. The dollar's looking very fragile here. A breakdown over here, a break outside of that lower trendline support, that could lead us bleeding into this area of trendline support over here. That's coming down around 92.30. That's not where that's just our next target if we break down out of there. That's not where I believe we stop. We'll see how price reacts around the support level. If it fails, if that support fails, then we're targeting all of a sudden yearly lows and could break down. We've looked at it before. What's after that? Yeah, I got some support over there at 90.84, right? And then after that, we're looking at 88.40. We don't need to talk about that yet until we get close to that. Then we'll talk about all of that. We do need to dig into some FX before we do. Let's look around and see what's going on in crypto over here, right? Let's take a look at Ethereum. So very similar to that structure on Bitcoin. It broke out of that beautiful trend line, by the way. So let's go at this is, looking good. In my mind, it's still the same. I want to break above the 390 resistance here before I believe Ethereum's going to start flying again, right? But this looks super healthy. Broke the trend line to the upside. That also looks like it was pointed out to us on Bitcoin, that bull flag. It's a consolidation. It does look like a bull flag. Same exact thing over there. So that's looking very healthy right now. Continues to look very, very healthy. What's going on? We had some Ripple fans, right? Ripple also, I have to say, it looks technically very bullish over here in the fact that look at this outer trend line, broken above it. Here's the broken resistance, that support over there. That all looks bullish. There's not else much to say about it. Do I see this though? No. I was looking to see if it was an ascending wedge, but I don't see it. It looks very bullish over here on Ripple. What about Chainlink? Let's take a look over there. Again, breaking that. I said for going back for a while now, it's when we broke out this trend line and this outer ledge that LinkedIn could start, Chainlink could start flying. Here we go. We're targeting up here. All looks very bullish. I think Chainlink needs to break above the $13 in order to start being really bullish, and then looking to possibly challenge those highs over here, at least towards 1670. Crypto looks super bullish though. There's not much else to say about it. What about the leader over here? Wow. I'm not going to say anything else but wow. This is Monero. Someone last week was talking about why everything else was pulling back. Monero was continuing to make those yearly highs. And look at that. It continues to fly. It made new all-time highs now, huh? It made new all-time highs. Beautiful. I'm not positive about that, actually. Don't quote me on that. But I want to know. So what am I going to pull up? I'll pull up a Bitstamp chart, and that should tell me. It's not on Bitstamp. Polynex. Huh. I don't know where to look to see. No. There we go. Oh my goodness. I don't even know what I'm talking about. It's not even close. Nevertheless, it's leading the way over here. I don't even know what I'm talking about over there. All right. So here we go. Let's get into FX over here today. Thanks, Mike. I do appreciate that. Right? Thank Thanks for supporting me. Thanks for supporting the channel. Thanks for letting the algorithm know what's going on over here. I feel like I'm a little off today on the flow. I don't feel like the material being presented is lacking in any way, shape, or form, but my flow is a little off. We'll get that. Yep, Drew, thank you for that. Justin, thanks for that. There is a link there in the bottom. There's also a new link in the bottom over there. Jesse has gone ahead and put together a store over here for some merch. Conquer Trading and Investing. Got some pretty awesome t-shirts over here that I'm going to get a hold of. We also have this mug that I have my eye on that I want to get right away. I want to be drinking my morning coffee. So Jesse went ahead and did this, and I'm grateful for it. Lots of cool stuff in here. And definitely we'll be talking more about that later, especially on Friday. Thanks, Tom. I appreciate that. You know, and then here we go. Let's get into FX a little bit and see what's going on. Brad brought this one to my attention earlier last night, but I didn't get to look at it till this morning over here. Let's take a look at this, right? What I'm focusing in on over here is the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. Thank you. And happy Thanksgiving, Canadian. Yeah, so by the way, oh, man, it's just my own, how do you say, expectations. That's all. You know, the material, again, I'm all about it. It feels good. Jordan, thanks for nothing. The treasure. All right, let's go. It's in the Miguel. It's in the link below the description. And if it's not there, let me know. I added it here this morning though. That's right. Happy Thanksgiving to all the Canadian brothers and sisters, for sure. All right. Let's keep going over here. Let's go. Let's move this over here to support, right? Boom. And you can see, by the way, right? Just follow what's going on over here. It's a great setup that he picked out over here. Why? First of all, we were watching this. You have the breakout. Retest never took off. Another retest. This one is a good entry, the best entry. But since then, we've taken out this resistance, right? And that's what he was focused in on over here, was the retest back into that broken resistance, looking for it to hold for support. It's a beautiful setup. It's a beautiful setup. I love it all day long. Now, what about over here? Do you see perhaps this is what we should be focused in on? Is that developing over there? Is that something that you want to focus in on? There you go. That might provide an area here on the upside. If you come up over here, as you're coming close, you can see where my mouse is. Beautiful. Also horizontal resistance. That's the place that you're first looking to take a small piece off of. That's the place, more importantly, you're looking to move your stop loss to break even. Let me go ahead and keep that clean. All right. So there we go. What else are we going to look at? We're going to look at a lot of stuff over there. I need to get a feel for what's going on. Monday morning session is crucial. Don't forget, don't be trigger happy on the Asian Open, you know, into the London session on Monday. Let things develop over there. Get a feel for what's going on in the week. Turnaround Tuesdays, turn around for a reason. What's the wicks? Well, I don't know. What's the wicks? What in the wick? I don't know. What's the wicks? New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar. I'd be happy to check her out this morning before we get into everything else over there. New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar looks pretty sideways with a bullish flare in it. I like this developing over here. This is what I see over here. All right. Well, is that? Yeah, I think that's a channel. So that's going to leave the other that line over there. Hold on one second. What else do we got going on over here? First thing I want to do is see, right? So I don't see that. This is what my eyes were attracted to. That looks like, to me, like a descending wedge. That's a very powerful pattern here. Breakout to the upside. So what about this? This is fuzzy for me, right? I think that line of resistance looks good. Let me draw that into resistance. I'm trying to see where we could potentially look to attack this, to attack to the upside. What about support below? Where is there support below? There's support right. So right there I have resistance, and then over there support. Following it over, it held as support. It's a very light line. What about a little bit below it? I have this bit of that was acting as support, and then over here again, that became resistance. Is that a line to focus in on? I'm not going to add either one of those lines, and I'm going to focus over here on this trend line. I'll move into that. Looking to buy off of that will provide, as a reminder over here, a possible place to look for an entry or a breakout of this trend line over here, right? A breakout side of the wedge, getting over this resistance. That would provide the signal, right? Wait for the resistance, pull back, and then we'll see where that lines. So right now on the New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar, it looks interesting. I'm going to keep all this working over here. It's going to provide a good guide going forward. But right now, I think, do you sell that resistance, right? I would not sell that resistance in my mind. This is my mind. I hope the analysis is able to help you see it clearer. But I think that we're in no man's land, just in no man's land across the board. All right, so you're consolidating. I like, recognizing something's consolidating is a really good spot to be. Could you spot head and shoulders? I tend not to look for head and shoulder patterns at all. I try not to look for them. I'm focused in on trend lines always, by the way. So if there's a head and shoulders pattern, without even me looking for the head and shoulders pattern, I'm playing that same exact pattern, except people get really confused in looking for head and shoulders patterns, right? They're looking for them all the time. Let's look at both the pound Japanese yen and also on the euro Japanese yen. We'll start here with the euro Japanese yen. So this looks interesting. This looks like a potential breakdown out of that rising wedge. You can see it into the support so far. So what does that mean? How do you play this, right? Is that a breakdown you're seeing potentially? Sure looks like it could be one. You're into the area of support though, right? You're waiting for a retest and a resumption out of it, right? So I think the safe right now, as in the next 24 hours, the safe entry will actually be below that area of support. Like if you got a retest and then the entry like that. That's the only way that I would potentially take something like this right now. Is it possible this support holds and then we climb back into the pattern? Yeah. All right. So that's the only thing I could say about that. For this, that looks like to me that this ascending wedge is potentially breaking down right now. You need to see if it closes outside of that area on the daily. You're into that area of support, which means for me, the safe play would be seeing a retest and then a resumption down, taking out below that support. And that would provide a good short entry on the euro Japanese yen. What's going on with the pound Japanese yen? And so it's a similar pattern in that I could see here, an ascending wedge that has not broken down yet. And also more important for me is just stay away from the pound this week. There could be some big volatility as October 15th is the deadline for some type of deal. Why has the Nasdaq popped today? I don't know. It could sincerely have something to do with that $90 trillion of central bank balance sheets growing, So people get so caught up in, is QE deflationary? Is QE inflationary? And that's like a hot debate that's almost meaningless. It doesn't affect your positions whatsoever. What's important, though, is, and that sounds like a broken record going back a long time now, QE is asset inflationary. Stocks go up. And, here we go. For need help in a desire, Tony has a question. He's looking to purchase Bitcoin through a self-directed Roth IRA. Where can I post questions to get feedback? I don't know anyone myself who has experience in that, Tony, so I don't have a place to lead you. But if anyone does, please let them know. I don't have any good resources on that whatsoever. I'm not sure that I would be looking to do that myself. I wouldn't be. But all right, Dr. Loco. Thank you, man. Looking forward to reading that. Awesome, Mike. Looking forward to working more closely with you. By the way, later today, look out for an email. Check your bulk folder, Mike. There will be a live training session tomorrow. So look out for those details. Yeah, there's not much difference when you look at, Bitcoin euro or the Bitcoin US dollar, in the fact that like you're dealing with the same patterns, going to broad strokes here. This was the breakout of the bull market. You had then the retest exactly like on the US dollar, and now you're exactly at the same exact point, right? There's not much of a difference if you're looking at the chart here of Bitcoin euro versus Bitcoin the US dollar, right? This is the trend line that started the breakout of the bull market. You since came back down and tested that exact level, and are now resuming out, but have not made a higher swing high. It's this same exact thing happening over here. That was the breakout of the bull market, the exact retest, and now you're resuming out, but have not yet made a higher swing high. It's Manuel. It's really almost the same exact thing. The analysis that we're giving on the Bitcoin US dollar is completely relevant for you. All right, so no worries there. Right, this is what we're looking at over here. Broad strokes. Broad strokes. All right, so what else? Let's keep going. Lee, connect the three minor peaks after the all-time high on gold. It looks like it could be providing some resistance. So, Lee, I'm looking at the all-time high. So these are my two trend lines, Lee, on gold. And this is, by the way, just the clone trend line. The outer one was just the clone trend line of this prime trend line over here. I mean, this is what I see, and I see it clearly. And again, now that we've had the breakout, we always look for a pop into that local resistance. Now we've pulled back. This gives people an opportunity here to get long on gold on a resumption out over here. Look also on the true trend. You're seeing the true trend. The trend CCI has turned positive, signaling a new swing uptrend. And this is the first pullback of the entry CCI. That's the money shot right there. So all lining up very nicely over there. Sean, did you see I just looked at the euro, Japanese yen, and I don't trade off the 4 hour. The 4 hour is first of all, I mean, I'm talking, 20 years here, extensive research, and coming from someone who used to think that the smaller time frames were more profitable than the larger ones. But the 8 hour is significantly more profitable than the 4 hour. The only time that for me the 4 hour was more profitable than the 8 hour was in a very short time, a couple of months during the 2008 crisis. Back in September, October, November of 2008, the 4 hour outperformed the 8 hour, but the 8 hour was extraordinarily profitable. And, those 12 years afterwards, the 8 hour is profitable every single time. So Sean, I just highly recommend getting on the right time frame. All right, let's go on over here. Let's keep going. Let's keep looking at FX. I'm going to start over here. Well, let's take a look at the euro US dollar before, as our lead in. Yeah, so but if you're looking to look at Apple, right? If you want to look at Apple, just go off our analysis here. By the way, this morning I said, it's time to take profit. Only because we're just way overbought over here into that resistance quicker than I expected, right? That on the S&P, that was on Friday. Friday by the close, people should have taken that profit. And you still have, though, on the Nasdaq, in my opinion, a lot of potential upside if these people need to cover. Maybe they're right, but they don't appear to be right. But Jordan, there's been no volume to this move on the upside. That's what I've been hearing. There's no, rewind all of this, but Jordan, there's no volume. Stop following volume. You don't need to follow volume. It's just another indicator there that's confusing you. Because if it stopped you from missing this breakout over here of the chart patterns that we were watching, right? Then what is it doing for you, right? Descending. I mean, it's just clear as day. Just follow the price. Don't worry about volume. Don't worry about a million other conflicting indicators. Follow what's most important. Follow price. The Nasdaq, Apple, what about Apple? Well, I see the indexes, as a place to get neutral. So on a pullback, if we get long here on the indexes, then maybe you want to, you're looking at individual stocks. That's the time for you to get involved. But right now, should you be buying Apple? I think we're overbought. I think we're overbought. Come down over here. Look at Apple. You know, it broke out of the whatchamacallit, that bull flag, that descending channel we were watching. Super healthy over there. But is that the time to buy it? Right? We talked about this last week, by the way, on Friday. We really got into this. No, we're going to take a look at FX over here. Let me get going over here. We're going to start with the Euro US dollar. We're going to go where the money is to be made. That's an FX. That's the easy market to trade. That's what trades technically beautiful. The easiest place. Nice, Grant. I'm glad Ethereum is joining in on over there. Just a quick look over there, right? We're getting close to that 390, above 390. That begins to send it. I see Bitcoin over here. Look at that. Just look how beautiful. And when I say beautiful, look at the resistance. And then look again at the resistance. These lines, by the way, are going to give us guidance going forward. You can see I have these lines over here drawn in. They're light. As we come into them, I'll make them darker. And then, you know, when we break this next resistance, I'll make this one lower. I'll keep the prime one dark. But these lines over here, they're going to be providing on our way up what type of resistance we're looking at to help give us guidance. And you can see today just how perfectly they've come into play. Let's keep going over here. I need to get a feel for it. I'm going to blow through some pairs right now, and then I'll come back, and then I'll be looking at the comments, and then I'll be looking to see what's going on with you all and what questions and what we can look at over here. John, we have, for those that are in the Conquering the Markets training course, we have a private Telegram group that we kind of hang out in and discuss things, but not on Facebook. I deleted Facebook. If you ever watched Edward Snowden, you know, if you ever watched the movie Oliver Stone Snowden, man, I deleted Facebook. You know, I deleted Facebook. You know, my close friends that want to show me pictures of their kids, you know, we get together and we do that. But I think that's definitely a privacy fail. All right, let's do Euro US dollar. We're the same. By the way, when I say Euro US dollar, I'm looking here at the DXY. We're in this channel right now. This is the current thing that we're watching is this channel over here. If we break out to the upside, I'm going to say, uh-oh, at this point, I'm flipping and I'm expecting a sharp move into that at least 94, the resistance above it. I'll be looking for a strong bull reaction over here. That's not my base case. That's my if I'm wrong case. I'm looking over here at a lot of weakness. I'm looking for this light trend line here to break down and a test into this area. Okay. That being said, now look at the Euro US dollar with all that in mind, right? That would equate to the Euro US dollar breaking out here and coming in to that resistance over there around 1.19. Above there, that gets very bullish again on the Euro US dollar, targeting this that will be resistance. That trend line over there, that parabolic trend line, was all support all the way up until it broke. By the way, watch this. It broke. It then what? Retested. That broken support was resistance. Resumed down into that 12-year trend line, which looked like it was breaking, but ultimately held. All right. So what does that mean? Euro US dollar right now is currently in this channel. It's out of play. It's completely out of play for me right now. A breakdown over here, is that something that might be interested in trading to the short side? I think so. You know, just like I said on the DXY, if we break up, that could be a big move. Getting back below this support over here, that's a good looking trade back into that and into that trend line support. And we're not taking profit there if that happens. We're looking to ultimately push that. Now, that's not what's happening right now. That could happen easily this week. Watch out for that. I'm watching out for that, which means to me that the Euro US dollar could be played from the both sides this week. Okay? The Euro US dollar could be played from the both sides. I don't like playing it long though. I don't like playing it long. I'm bullish on the pair currently, but I'm not looking to play it to the long side. However, I am looking for where you could attack it to the downside. How about that? That's a conundrum. That's not something that I find myself saying often, but that's what I see today. All right, back above this resistance over there starts getting beautiful. I think, right? That's what I see. What else are we seeing? Let's take a look at the Australian dollar, Japanese yen, right? So interesting that the euro Japanese yen seem to be lagging. I do see a similar pattern over there. I do see this ascending wedge over here, right? I don't think it's breaking down right now. Rough strokes. What about the support over here? Breaking below that. Is that a place to sell? I don't think so, right? By the way, just putting a couple of things together, I'm seeing the equity markets, the indexes, way overbought. Would a pullback surprise me? Absolutely not. We're looking for a pullback before we even think about getting long again now. Not just a pullback. It could either be a quick pullback or maybe we set up for some consolidation because we've seen some big moves. The reason I'm talking about that is because of the tight correlation between the equity markets and the Australian dollar, Japanese yen, right? So well, at the end of the day, what I do see is, yeah, I'm just completely neutral, right? I'm completely neutral right here. I don't see anything going on the Australian dollar, Japanese yen. I'm looking for when I see something and I'm like, okay, that's clear. That's what I'm looking to get involved in. The Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, that was a good look. So I want to just clean this up, by the way. I'm just going to make this as a resistance, just so I'm aware. That's what I'm looking at that as for resistance. These lines over here, we don't need them anymore. I'm going to get rid of them. I want a clean looking chart, right? This has served this purpose. This is what we're focusing in on right now. Australian dollar, US dollar. By the way, as we see, and Monero again leading the way. DXY coming off. Gold still negative. Just trying to get a feel for what's going on over there. All right, Australian dollar, US dollar. This looks bullish to me. This looks like something that I might be interested in over here very much. All right, why? So, by the way, I'm flagging this. Let me unflag all these as I start fresh on Monday. All right, I'm flagging this pair, Australian dollar, US dollar. Why do I like that? Right? So you see this area over here. This is strong support. Now it was resistance. It broke. That's now support. Right? I like that I'm above that support. I like that I regained this trend line over here. That's all looking very bullish right now. If I pull up the true trend, you could see that's a first pullback. Trend CCI has turned positive. This was 2 weeks ago, by the way. We talked about this setup over here in the Conquering the Markets training session. Greg has since provided a beautiful PDF. I will be, you know what, in tomorrow's training session, this is what I'm going to cover. And with the help of Greg's PDF, which was a great instruction manual. This over here is setting up a beautiful trade over here. I also could see this potential bull flag developing. I'm not looking to trade off the bull flag. I'm looking to trade off over here the break of the resistance and now the retest. By the way, does the retest need to come back into this trend line or that horizontal resistance? No. It's even healthier if it doesn't. I've had lower highs. I'm pulling back, consolidating now. I'm looking for a resumption up. And by the way, also at the same time, look where price is right now. You see this, we're over here, this area of support. You see these touches over here that wick into there. Over here, it's light. Also, light support you're into right now. I don't need to focus in on that. That's a beautiful setup over there. What else are we looking at over here? Let's keep going over there. Little volatility in the crypto, I see. All right, Canadian dollar, Japanese yen. I don't understand. It must be Thanksgiving over in Canada providing that little bit of strength, relative strength to the Canadian dollar. This looks good over here, though. Why do I say that? By the way, we looked at a bunch of Japanese yen pairs, and you all saw that they were in that ascending wedge. And you could see that the Canadian dollar is not actually. It's actually broken out above that and is testing this outer end of resistance, which is now support. So, and you also saw the euro Japanese yen was weaker than the rest, breaking down to the bottom. So do you see how I come to say that the Canadian dollar, Japanese yen is actually relatively stronger than everything else right now? Could that be because oil has been bid all of last week? Not really. Not really. And again, by the way, for those tracking WTI, it continues to be sideways as could be. No edge there. Not no edge. Just stay away from a sideways market. So this is actually interesting. I'm going to flag this, even though I have been not a fan of the Canadian dollar, but it is what it is. And this looks completely bullish to me. So by the way, as I clean this up now, because that was just me working out rough strokes, right? Do I see any other support higher up over there, right? Do I see over here like this touch over there? Do I want to put a line of support? I'm just going to go ahead and do that. All right. So this trend line is actually what I'm most focused in on, and a retest of that and a resumption off. That might send me to looking at playing the Canadian dollar, Japanese yen overnight. Interesting. Not what I was looking for. It is what is. Let's keep going over here. Let's figure out what's going on with the charts over there. Yeah, ta-da, we looked at Bitcoin. It hasn't cleared resistance. You could see the peak into resistance, right? This is our trend line resistance, right? It clears above there. That's setting up a test of the last swing high. And then you could see over here, I have resistance up there that I'll make a little bit darker. That's coming in somewhere around 13,000, excuse me. But we're not there yet. We're not there yet. All right. What's going on with the DXY? Just unchanged on the day now. Do I think that Trump believes in God? I can't figure out how that figures out into our analysis. It just doesn't line up. We're here to make money in the markets. We do consider all political events that will affect the markets, but comments like that, you know what? All right, let's keep going on over here. Swiss franc, Japanese yen. I don't look at exotics. US dollar, Swiss franc, Japanese yen. This continues to be, look, I just could see it. It's as clear as day. Is this a buy signal though over here? Even though we're within this ascending wedge over here, do I think that we're coming back and we're testing this area of support, resumption out? Does that offer a possible long trade over here? Or are you looking for a breakdown of that support level, which will be a breakdown of that rising wedge? Both of those things line up very well, and you could play either way. I don't have any clear indication of where I'm leaning on that, but everyone should be able to see that, right? This is a clear wedge pattern over here. You're above the support right now. A breakdown of the horizontal support and out of the wedge does offer opportunity to go short over here. Is it possible that's where the markets are. It feels to me like we could see a big risk-on event occur out of nowhere. That's how the Japanese yen is set up. And we'll see a breakdowns out of all these ascending wedges. And at the same time, this risk-on could absolutely continue on all these pairs. That's what I'm seeing. The worst thing you could ever do when it comes to trading is try to play gaps. And if you're focused in on gaps, you should be focused in on the 9600 CME gap. My base case is that it never gets filled. Gap trading is very, very dangerous. You could be on the other side of a trade for an extended period of time. It's usually, and I say this with all sincerity, it's usually people that don't have a trading plan that focus in on gaps. All right, let's go. Euro, Australian dollar. We're still in no man's land. There's nothing else I'm going to say. That's why I have this big mess here. We're still in no man's land, consolidating. I'm going to keep moving along. Euro, Canadian dollar. Also in no man's land. There's nothing here going on. Wow. Right? When I say wow, what is that? That's just completely sideways price action. Is that getting ready to break down out of that, by the way? So let me go ahead and actually just highlight that support, make it a little bit clearer for all of us, for myself included, or myself most importantly, I should say. All right. I'm going to move this up just a tiny bit to where the market's focused in on that touch. This was support. A breakdown below there, that might be something to get involved with. Right now, would I buy off support here? No, I don't like the sideways. All right. Because, by the way, the more something consolidates, when it breaks up or breaks down, that's when a big move could be coming. So that support is interesting. Pound, this is the euro, British pound. It looks like this week we could potentially break out of this bull flag over here to the upside or downside. October 15th could be the catalyst. Let's see what happens. We'll keep watching it, but nothing to say right now. Euro, Japanese yen. Let's go over there. Thank you, digital money. We already looked at this. All right, we saw it. Looks like it could potentially be breaking down at this ascending wedge, but into that support. Need to see if it closes back inside that wedge, or excuse me, or it could be looking over here tonight. I'm going to flag that for a potential short trade over here. If we get a retest and then a resumption down, that could be a potential short over there. So I do see, for real, a set of waves coming in, and they are tied to, so far, the Japanese yen. So a wave set on the horizon. Euro, New Zealand dollar. So I'm going to go ahead and draw this in because this is what I see, right? And I want to be tracking this, right? What would I do here? Nothing. But I'm watching this over there. A breakdown of that trend line sets up a break of that support. Then I could become interested in getting short here on the euro and New Zealand dollar. Nothing else to say about that today. Oh, man, brother, this is what we look to do. You ready? Well, man, you know, I don't have to say anything to you. If you put a quarter of your life savings into that, then you know exactly what you're doing. I personally, I only buy off support and uptrends. I only sell off resistance and downtrends. The index is as bullish as can be, all of them. All indexes are as bullish as they can be right now. Technically and fundamentally. Oh, no, but Jordan, the economy. The economy is not liquidity. All right, let's go. Here we go. This is the euro-US dollar. We already looked at it. No problem. Keep going. Gold now. Oh, there we go. DXY turned negative on the day. Gold here off its lows. Bitcoin flirting with a breakout of resistance over there. Flirting with a breakout. It so far has, by the way, broken out of that bull flag over there. That bull flag that was pointed out to us this morning has broken out to the upside into that resistance. So this is a great question. I'm going to stop here as I continue because I'm building up a flow here, and I get excited when I start like seeing a set of waves come in because that's how I make my money. So I get really excited when I see like, oh yeah, like a surfer on the, looking at the horizon, looking for that set of waves. And when they see that set of waves coming in, they're then focused on which wave they're going to ride, and they get excited. That's how I feel right now. But it's a good question. Why would I even bother doing analysis on Mondays or Fridays? It's the same way even during periods where I'm not trading, I'll do analysis because it's like, this is how you answer that question. Think of, any elite athlete, no matter if they're playing football, American football, if they're playing, baseball, hockey. Happy Thanksgiving, Canadians. My favorite sport in the world, ice hockey. Tennis player. It doesn't matter what sport you're talking about. The best of the best. Michael Jordan, first to practice always. Practice the hardest. The biggest edge you could give yourself in the markets is putting in time to your analysis. Those that go ahead and sit before their computer, they're like, oh, let me short the Nasdaq right now. Like, that's not analysis. That's not analysis. So even if you're not trading, the more time that you're putting in, getting into the flow of the market, the more analysis you do, the more of the pulse of the market you have, the more of the feel of the market, because your brain is assessing everything and putting it all together. What happened today, the price action that's occurring today, is setting up my trade for maybe Tuesday night in London. Okay? That's why. The days that you're not trading, you still need to be focused in on what's going on in the market. You need to stay in the flow of the market. Thank you, Lucas. Thanks. This is the best online community that I've ever seen in my life, and I'm grateful for each and every one of you. All right, let's go. Let's keep going over here. Let me get an assessment for what's going on, by the way, as I do that. S&P still at the highs of its session, way overbought. It's not just the entry CCI is overbought, by the way. When I say that, you can see how long it's been over zero. The trend CCI is now above 200, also at overbought levels. Yes, overbought can remain overbought, but from a risk to reward perspective, that was a place to take profit. Same thing here on the Nasdaq, place to take profit. Does that mean short it? No, that means take profit. Look for a pullback. We're going to look for a pullback. By the way, eyes on that support down over there. It could be less. It could be breaking above this trend line and setting up a pullback for us to get into there. But we're looking for high probability trades. We're looking to make money from the markets. We're looking to approach them with clarity and with awesome risk and trade management. All right, that's what we're looking for on the DXY. No problem. I'm just getting my surroundings, just getting a feel for my surroundings, and then I'm going to go back into my analysis. There you go. I would love a break above 390 here. Would love it. All right, so let's go. Let's keep going. I think I was on. This is a look at some pound pairs. By the way, there is a high impact news event on the pound. It's a light calendar. We didn't look at the calendar yet today. I don't think we need to, but I believe it's a light calendar we have this week. Yeah, this is a really light calendar. I guess on Friday we got to find out if the consumer is still in play or not, but it's a light calendar this week. I guess we're trading off of stimulus hopes and central bank liquidity. This is still in the blue box, consolidating sideways. Massive move setting up for FX in 2022 across many pairs. I'm not going to, if nothing's interesting, I'm not going to stop. Again, I see the wave that's setting up across the Japanese yen universe. I don't have any thoughts, by the way, but I have a thought that I want to share with everyone. The question is about gold miners. Do I have any thoughts about that? I don't. I honestly believe that, first of all, I'm not going to talk about something unless I believe I have any bit of insight that is beneficial to the conversation. I believe that if you're focused in on the metal miners, that you should be an expert. It's a highly volatile area, right? You're taking some huge asymmetric bets. I'm not an expert in it. I don't spend my time there. Therefore, I don't know. There are some good resources, some interviews on Real Vision, Eric Sprott's podcast, some good resources there. So there is though, I read an interesting comment sometime over the weekend though about gold miners probably being one of the next big bubbles in the coming future, not anytime soon, in the coming future. And that would be, or that could be the possibility if you start seeing capital controls placed in the United States. So, if we do get some type of blue wave, any type of Democratic Party sweep, then I think that you might want to really do more research in that area. All right. So, because listen, right? If the government starts to raising taxes to astronomical levels, and then you have people looking to evade taxes, which is illegal, don't do it. At that point, you could start seeing capital controls put in place. It could all get ugly. Is it possible that becomes illegal to hold gold again for an American citizen? Yeah, that's possible. Could it be illegal to self-custody Bitcoin? Yeah, that's possible. So at that point, the public markets, the miners might be what blows up. That was the whole thought over there, right? So here we go. Pound, US dollar. Actually, this looks bullish over here. No question about it. Trying to avoid the pound, but not else much to say about that. We have regained that resistance. Not only regained it, have retested it. Nevertheless, we got some overhead resistance, right? I looked at that over here. In that area over there, you could see, to follow it to the right, you could see its overhead resistance. That's it. That's all I could say. New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar. Oh, clear pattern. We looked at that earlier in the session, right? Looking for that, waiting for that to play out. I would ideally like, right, a test into the lower support area, a resumption off. That gives an entry or a breakout to the upside. New Zealand dollar, Swiss franc. Mildly interesting, right? Do you see the consolidation across the markets? I avoided markets trades last week, and you see the consolidation. What does consolidation lead to? It leads to expansion. It's coming. Is it possible it doesn't happen to after the election? Anything's possible. Anything's possible. Could we break out before? Of course, right? But here's a clear indication on the upside, right? That trend line over there. Or, as you all know, I do like, if I'm in an uptrend, coming back into that resistance. But you're in no man's land today. You're in dead no man's land, in between the resistance and support. New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen. Look at this. Is beautiful. Look at this. This is such a beautiful bit of a tip over here. Look, this is why we use the breakout. Here's the breakout of a trend line. And then we have the retest, no entry signal, no entry signal. We were protected from a false breakout, right? We're looking for high probability trades. We're not looking for rushes. Trading breakouts or breakdown is like a gambling rush play, but it's a very low probability trade. There's the perfect example here of being protected, never an entry signal. All right, New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Bullish, but I don't see a play. US dollar, Canadian dollar. Woof. Told you that Canadian dollar. Remember, I was looking at the earlier the Canadian dollar, Japanese yen, and I was saying the Canadian dollar looks strong to me. Look at that. No play though. I don't see a play whatsoever at all. But however, right? What are you looking at in a strong downtrend? Pullbacks into resistance. You had a couple. Nothing right now. No man's land. U.S. dollar, Swiss franc, tracking the DXY. Not much else to say about that. Look at this, by the way. It's tracking the DXY completely. You know the channel we're in the DXY. Here's that channel over there. Not much else to add to the conversation. U.S. dollar, Japanese yen. Look at this. Tried to break out to the upside. Failed back into the consolidation pattern. Right? A breakdown over here, by the way. A breakdown after this failed breakout. Over here. Do it yourself here. Clone this line that I have over here. And put it up touching this peak, and now this peak. Right? So a breakout above this, by the way. A breakout above this and getting above 106.14. That's a long that I will definitely be looking to take. I say definitely with nothing's definite. That's a long I will be looking to take. And at the same time, this little bit of a bull trap over here, if we break down below the support over here, that could be sending a bigger move here on the US dollar, Japanese yen. So this is in play. I know that looks messy. I'll clean that up in my own time today. But that's the play over here. That looks good. This is actually could be in play later this week. I want to make sure I'm looking at it. All right. Nickel. We didn't get into any of those. Let's take a quick look at what's going on over there. All I could say is just beautiful. Seeing that retest of the support to come off there. You're into a bit of resistance right now. We continue trading that. We're going to look at this on the 3-day time frame when we look at it. It's a long-term play over here. And again, you're looking and we'll continue to look to buy off pullbacks into support, right? Ideally, when it comes, this is when everyone will be FOMOing, fearing to the downside, but pullbacks into that lower trend line. This is actually looking over here. Lagging, platinum lagging, but in a huge bull flag. Not much else to say. Yeah, EOS. Let's check out EOS. It's been a long time. So, man, it seems a lot of projects from the last cycle that were big are definitely lagging. EOS being one of them. I don't know. It doesn't look so exciting. There are other things that do look exciting right now. I mean, Ripple looks more exciting to me right now, right? Look at Ripple. Ripple looks like it's breaking out over here. This trend line over here came back, broke up, tested that broken resistance as support, popping back out. So all I could say, and if Jordan's saying that XRP looks more exciting than EOS, man, I'm not a fan, obviously, of XRP, but just following the technicals, it's getting ready like it's looking for a big move to the upside. You know? That's where we are. How long we've been online today, by the way? 1 hour, 15 minutes. We took a look at everything. So, Gary, my thoughts on what we were talking about, taxes and that leading to potential um, uh, capital controls and whatnot. Listen, if they start putting taxes on people making $400,000 and more, that's just the first step. Then it will become people making $200,000 or more, and then it'll become making people making $100,000 or more, and then it'll be on everyone. There's no question about that. History is history. So big news though going on with the yuan, right? So the yuan was strengthening. Let's pull up a. You could see that over here that the yuan was strengthening to, I don't know how many yearly. Let's say no, a 2-year high. Yuan was strengthening to a 2-year high, and then China didn't like that, and they made it easier that people are able now easier to sell short the Chinese yuan. I think that's going to be limited. I think that's going to be limited. I think that you could potentially be seeing a much longer term strengthening here of the Japanese yuan, unless President Trump is reelected, and if the whole debacle between U.S. and China becomes into the forefront again, and we start seeing any type of escalation in the trade war, that would put pressure definitely on the yuan. I'm trying to see the difference between these two, and I can't see anything. That looks like it is potentially about to crash. But by the way, what pattern comes to mind over here? So you kind of did break down already. Look at that. Look at that breakdown. There's the retest coming in for the resumption now. But this pattern reminds me of one thing really big, right? And I'm going to pull it up before you right now. And that's this. Man, talk about, look at this. This was the prior bull market. Look at this. This was the prior cycle. You guys remember this? Breakdown and then bottom. Interesting, because what I wanted to show was this. That pattern on the China 50 reminds me of this. And then look, you had the same thing as I just showed you on that last fractal. Breakdown. That was the bottom. Would I look at it? No, I wouldn't. I'm not looking at the Australian dollar, US dollar until Tuesday morning in London, Mario. I'm not looking at that right now. I'm not looking at anything to enter this session right now. And for this to give an entry this session, by the way, within the next hour and 40 minutes, it would have to make a higher high. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So the earliest would be during Tuesday session during London. Tesla. Let's check out Tesla. Yeah. So by the way, let me check out what's going on over here. Yeah, Tesla looks super interesting, right? It does. I mean, it looks. I'm going here to the 3-day, by the way, And you can see on the 3-day chart, it's making a higher high over there. And then you could see that that is that little trend line we put over there for the breakout. So listen, Tesla looks super, super interesting over here for sure. Except I'd have like nerves about taking the trade because of the indexes being so overbought. So there's that, you know. So I mean, I wouldn't be taking the trade. Well, I'll keep monitoring. I don't. Something has to be clear, and I have hesitation here. I have huge hesitation here. Yeah, listen, this is not the place ever to it. You know, there you got. I guess there might be. I don't know. But there might be other channels that are like people take trades and they're like, well, do I? You know, what do I do now? I don't ever tell people anything. That's no. There's no way that if you're taking trades and asking someone else's opinion that you'll ever be profitable ever in the markets. But you could start. You know, Mohammed, subscribe to the channel. Start spending some time here and learning how to do this for yourself, because there is, you know, that's a huge asset, you know, but you taking a trade, don't take a trade if you don't know how to manage it. Don't take a trade if you don't know exactly where you're wrong on that and where you're looking to get out. All right. Interesting day today. Interesting day today. You listen, we'll take a look at it again this afternoon. Is there anything else you guys want to take a look at or talk about? Look, I think if you're trading stocks, you should be looking to invest in stocks for the long term, for sure. I think that if you're looking to swing trade, you'll have a much easier time doing it in the currency markets. Silver, we're looking for a break above 26. By the way, if you're just joining and you want to know what's going on with silver, we look at the U.S. indexes first, then we look at the DXY, and then we look over at silver. I mean, Mike, look at that. What? I don't see anything to say about Amazon, first of all. Anything whatsoever to add to that what appears to be a parabolic move taking off in Amazon right now. Just noise. What's causing the drop in the PMI? You saw that gold broke out, technically breaking out that trend line over there after regaining the damage done to it, came into the resistance and is backing off, getting ready to resume out. If it resumes out, that's the place to buy. That's the high probability trade. If you don't get an entry and you come back in and you test this area over here, the broken trend line, beautiful. That should be support now. Horizontal support, a resumption off there. That is what you're looking for. And then if you break down below this area, back below this trend line, all right, this was a failed breakout. But nothing. Precious metals look good. We're, by the way, on silver, waiting here to clear this 26 resistance, this breakout of the trend line in order for that party to get started. Yeah, this is TradingView. I use the it's like $7-8 a month upgrade for the custom charts, the 8-hour charts that I use. It is you know, you just go ahead and you add in 8 and then hours and then add. It's this, first of all, the charting platform is the best I know of. It's phenomenal, and it's the best $8 I spend a month. You know, I would give up coffee, you know, first. All right, everyone. I have no idea. I have no idea where I see silver at the end of the week. I can only follow what's going on over here. You know, I don't make price predictions. I follow what's going off of price, off of my levels, following price along support and resistance with the help of trend lines and chart patterns. I don't try to predict the markets. I try to assess my risk off of important levels. I never, ever use fib extensions. I don't need them. It's just conflicting. It's just another conflicting indicator that I don't need in my analysis. An edge is taking something as complicated as the markets and making it as simple as possible. That's an edge. All right, everyone. It was a beautiful session. It was a good session. I liked it. I give it a thumbs up. I appreciate you all. I thank you all. All right, everyone. I'll see you all later. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thanks for creating this beautiful community. I'm really grateful for it and for all of you.